Oh, I am live. I don't know if it's a good idea to do this live, but that's what I feel like doing, so that's what's happening. I wanted to talk about incarnation crosses. I wanted to talk about incarnation crosses in human design, specifically because of what specifically because of what the incarnation cross does in human design. It's referred to often as a life purpose. I personally feel like the concept of life purpose is really dramatic, and I feel like most people are not. Most people don't need to think about their life purpose. It's you're if you're being yourself, you're gonna do it. But I think it's really helpful to be aware that people have different ones, and they're designed to fulfill these things in different ways. So that's been my obsession over the past couple days. It's like a mini obsession, just going into, in general, the concept of incarnation crosses. There's 192 of them, I believe. So of course you won't know every single person's incarnation cross, but I feel like just understanding how they're divided could be really helpful for how you might interact with people. And maybe like you could be curious when you meet someone like, they might be this kind of life purpose person, or this person might be fulfilling this role. So I just want to talk about this. So incarnation crosses are broken up into 4 quarters. There's also quarters kind of running our experience. If you're on live, I'll text you back soon. So incarnation crosses are broken up into these 4 quarters. We also have quarters that divide up our year and our lives and da-da-da. But the 4 quarters can also be looked at as 4 seasons. And the first quarter is all about initiation, and it's about fulfilling your purpose through the mind. And I that's like traditional human design language, but the way that I like to look at that is fulfilling your purpose through philosophizing. So there are people out there who are designed to, like, they came to Earth to think about things and look around and say, like, what is this? What is all? Okay, I need to, like, put my thing on next. I will not be able to think. So those of you who have your incarnation cross in the quarter of initiation, you came to think about things. You came to wonder what's going on. You came to look around and be curious about the experience that we're having. And it's really interesting because my incarnation cross is not in the quarter of initiation, and I always am curious when I see people who like want to know all of the like things, like all of the spiritual theories and things like that. When they want to know all the information, I'm just like, I don't want to know all of that. I don't want to know all the information. But there are people who are designed to play out their purpose, knowing and discovering these things. And then within each of these groups, you have 3 ways that these incarnation crosses will act out. So you have something called the left angle, you have something called the right angle, and you have something called the juxtaposition. When you have a left angle incarnation cross, you are someone whose storyline is designed to play out with others. Your storyline might even be told through the lens of others. I like to think of left angle incarnation crosses as, now don't be offended by this if you're a left angle incarnation cross, because I too am a left angle incarnation cross. I like to think of it as NPCs. We are the non-playable characters in a video game that you run into on your way through a storyline. Like a vendor that you might buy an elixir from. That is the vibe of a left angle cross. Our spirit, our soul incarnated to interact with others in a specific way. That's like why we're here. Right angle incarnation crosses came for their own experience. So it's very like hero's journey vibes, very we'll just stick with hero's journey vibes. Very internal experience. Your story is told through the lens of your experience. You came here to tell your story about yourself and think about what's going on with you. And then juxtaposition, that's almost like not even a storyline at all. It's like a map. There's these prefixed locations that you will run into at certain times with certain people, and it will solidify whatever arc anyone is in. And juxtapositions, that only happens for one profile line. But you have that first group, initiation, and then you have these 3 groups within that incarnation cross that act out in these 3 different ways. The second group is the quarter of civilization, and this is all about creating civilization. So the life purpose of these people is going to be one that involves creating structures for others. It's going to be something that I feel like creates a normalization. The rules of things are developed to this. It's your life purpose is fulfilled through creating form, and these people are going to if they're being themselves, they are going to organize people. They're going to create organization amongst civilization and decide how civilization acts. They're going to decide rules for things. So if there's someone out there, maybe you're not a person whose life purpose is fulfilled through the quarter of civilization, you might see someone who is fulfilling their purpose through that quarter, and you might say, like, why do you care so much about what other people are doing? Or why do you care so much about the culture? Why do you care so much about politics? Why do you care so much about this standard in this industry? Or like, why do you care about maintaining these things? But it's because there are certain people whose job it is to maintain and retain our civilization. There are some people who will, when they're being themselves, they will be dedicated to that. The next one is bonding. It's fulfilled through bonding in relationships. And this, the quarter of duality was the previous one. This is the quarter of duality. That's the third quarter. That's all about bonding with others, relationships. So there are people who their purpose is fulfilled through learning about relationships, learning about connecting with other people, learning about the differences between people, learning about separation, learning about what happens when these 2 people interact in this specific way. And if you are someone standing outside of that, the example that I'm thinking about is like the relationship podcasts, and how like sometimes people are like, why do people want to talk about relationships so much? Or why do people want to discuss this? Like, why do we need to be talking about this so much? And at least I've had thoughts like this myself as someone who's not in that quarter. But there are people whose purpose it is to discuss and understand relationships, discuss differences between us, discuss how people interact and kind of like report on that. And then lastly, we have the quarter of transformation. That is the 4th quarter, or like winter. And it's about death and rebirth. That's the one that my life purpose is in. And this is all about like futurism. What's next? What is, it's like, okay, the thing is dying. What now? That's that type of energy. And standing outside of that energy might look like, why don't you care about what is happening in front of us? You should be looking at that more than you're looking at what is happening next. Or, like what else? I mean, I'm in this one, so I'm not really sure exactly what misunderstandings people have for this incarnation cross, but that's one of them. We'll stick with that one. So I just feel like it's helpful to know that when we are ourselves, we are fulfilling different roles. We all are playing out these different ways of being. And even within the same quarter, there's 3 different ways that those roles get played out. And altogether, there's 192 different life purposes that we're all experiencing and witnessing on a day-to-day basis. And I just feel like it's helpful to get curious about that, to play with that, understand that people are playing different instruments. And that's all. I just wanted to get on live and talk about that. That's it. Does anyone have any curiosities about incarnation crosses, or we'll stick to that topic. Now, mind you, I don't know all the incarnation crosses off of the top of my head. So if you ask me that, I'm like, I don't know if I know your exact incarnation cross. It's a left angle cross of, how do I know I'm being authentic or being myself? What a question. What a question. I feel like one of the first ways to play with that is getting into your body and asking yourself, what does it feel like when I'm not being myself? Can you show me sensationally what it feels like when I am not allowing myself to be who I am? I feel that this is when negative emotion has great use, because it's an alarm, it's an alert, and it can let you know there's something going on here that I'm not into. There is something happening that doesn't feel quite like me. But this could be extended to anybody. It doesn't really matter with your incarnation cross, but ask yourself, what does it feel like to not be me? Show me an alert in my body. Now, this is my belief system. I feel like if you are feeling prolonged negative sensation, if you are feeling pained sensation, suffering for a period of time, you are likely not allowing yourself to be yourself. I feel that our true self, being them, feels, and this again, my belief system, it feels like flow. It feels like water is just moving and there's no interruption. Water is just moving. And again, I'm not going to know anyone's specific incarnation cross. Right angle cross of the contagion. So for what you will want to do, there is a great resource on Jovian Archive. That's one place you can find which quarter the incarnation crosses are in. Jovian Archive's one, and then, oh my God, what's the other? We'll just stick with that. Find your incarnation cross, and you can find out which quarter your incarnation cross is in. I wonder if I can leave and drop a link for them. We'll just Google incarnation cross quarters, and there'll be a list of all of the different incarnation crosses that are in the various quarters. I will say, though, that from what I've read with the right angle cross of contagion, and I'm hoping that I'm not messing this up, because there's so many of them, and I don't have them memorized. Contagion, a right angle cross of contagion. First of all, being a right angle cross means that you incarnated for a personal story. You incarnated for personal karma. You came here to mind your business about you. You came here for your storyline. But the contagion, if I am not mistaken, I don't want to mess this up. But what I've heard around the right angle cross of contagion is that the way, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to mess it up. If you tell me your gate numbers, that might be helpful, because I don't want to lie to you. But what I can talk about is right angle crosses and left angle crosses. So, when you are a right angle cross, you your soul, or for, how about, I'll put it this way. If you're a left angle cross, understand that there are people out there whose experience and their soul's purpose, the reason they came on earth was to watch themselves, is to think about their own thinking process, to experience their own feeling process and witness that. And in doing that, they have fulfilled a life purpose. They did the thing. They have fulfilled the role. I feel like it can be easy to judge either side, and understanding, sorry, the garbage trucks are here. Understanding that we are guided to express these purposes in very different ways, I feel like leaves so much space for curiosity and interest. They're so loud. Now I'm like, dang, I wish I could like pull up a list of incarnation crosses and talk about them. Do I want to do that? Do I have the energy to do that? Guys, I might do that. I feel like talking about human design, so I think I might do that. Hold on, y'all. And then I'll go back and I'll read my perception of these incarnation crosses, because we'll all define them differently. So to make sure my Singles Inferno doesn't start playing on my laptop. Okay, so going back to Anita Riot, you talked about your incarnation cross being a left angle cross of cycles. It's interesting because for you asking that question about like being authentic and being yourself, I feel like, well, just like everyone, there's a constant evolution that's happening, but your role, the game that you came to play out, is one of both witnessing endings and beginnings, starts and finishes and continuity. It's meant to be a witness to constant transformation, and also catalyze transformation in others as well. So being authentic, I feel like, is going to be regularly checking in with, I guess back to what I said, how you feel with yourself, because who you are is going to probably dramatically evolve, like repeatedly. Like you're going to like die and become something else quite a lot. And so I would be light with yourself when it comes to authenticity, meaning like, I'm always this kind of person. I'm always, this is what I do all the time. It's not really going to be your experience. You're someone who's going to be like a beacon of transformation, like a representation of transformation itself. So be flexible with yourself. Be light with your idea around authenticity, because you will change. Right angle of contagion. I want to see if I can drop the direct link to the quarters. That's not a good link. I don't like that one. Dang, there's this one that I like and why am I blinking? Genetic matrix. That's the one. That's the one I want to share. Okay. I guess I could put the link in. That's long. Not long, but at least from my phone to the Mac. But look up genetic matrix and look up incarnation crosses, and you can see a list of all the different incarnation crosses and what quarters that they're in. So the right angle cross of contagion, that is in the, are you contagion 1? I'm going to assume you're contagion 1 because you probably would have said the other number if you're not that. Contagion 1 is in the quarter of initiation. So your purpose is one that is fulfilled through the mind, meaning you are here to be curious about things, to think about things, very like philosopher vibes, very philosopher, and looking through the lens of your own experience and prioritizing that. That's what you're going to do. Now with the contagion specifically, that's fun. That's fun. The right angle cross of the contagion, it uses the gates 30, 29, 14, and 8. And the way that I would like synthesize all the information together is you're here to play a game of following your desires, which of course you might say like, oh, all of us are here to play that game, but you are here to just like say yes to life. Just keep like, I'm going to dive into this thing. I'm going to try this thing out and I'm going to experience this thing. I'm going to be so curious about what I want, and it might work out sometimes, it might not work out sometimes, but you're here to be so curious about what you want. And part of that is going to be connected to making a contribution to society. But you're doing that because you want to, not because you have to. There's going to be like a desire to, I want to give something. I want to offer something to, and that's kind of where I feel like where the contagion energy comes from. I've gone through all these experiences. I've followed my desires. I've said yes to so many things. I've had all these experiences, and I want to share something. I want to offer my experience to you all because I want to. I don't really care what happens after I offer it to you, but I'm gonna offer it. I'm wondering if it's efficient to just go through and talk about everyone's individual incarnation cross, but it's like fun. Okay. So with your incarnation cross, it's not a specific gate that you're going to match, but depending on where you get your chart, try using genetic matrix to get your chart. I think maybe also Jovian Archives charts offer this, but you're just going to look for something called your incarnation cross. And for anyone who's jumping on, I'm just talking about how it can be helpful to be aware that we all play out different roles, and we have these different, these roles are actually divided into 4 separate seasons, and how these seasons express are different. They're very different. The way that we experience the story arc that is a life purpose is going to be even like opposite from each other at times. And I feel like it's so helpful to be aware of this and to create space to understand other people's roles that they play and value systems. And maybe, I mean, it could be useful for you to be aware that some people have a role that is designed for transformation, and then another person has a role that's designed for creating bonding. But yeah, I just really felt like it's a good idea to talk about how we are different instruments and the roles that we play in the song are different, very different. Okay. As an interior designer, I'm wondering if it'd be valuable for me to learn specific info about my human design charts, or if there's other aspects of their chart that might be more relevant. Oh, well, I feel like there's probably a lot of things you could play with. There's a, for you specifically, because you're an interior design advisor, only do this if it feels fun for you. Also, if it feels exciting, and it's like, that would be fantastic. Check out their environment. Different people are designed to thrive in different environments. For instance, like I do well in like a caves environment, which literally, if I was talking to an interior designer, I'd say the places that I want to be most often, I do not want a door that goes to like the outside world behind me. Like that literally for cave environments does not feel good. And I actually notice at restaurants that I will find the most corneriest corner, and I will put my back into that corner, and like put me into a cave as soon as possible. So I play with someone's environment. That could be fun. Some people, they might have an environment where they need to see like a horizon line. So I'd play with environment. That could be quite fun. Okay, LAX of informing. Well, obviously that has to do with informing people of things. But let's find out what quarter it's in. Maybe that's what I'll do. Instead of going into like the descriptions of all of the incarnation crosses, you can tell me your incarnation cross and I will let you know what quarter it's in, and then remind you of I think it's my dog licking in the back. That might drive me insane. I think that one might have multiple names. It's in the quarter of initiation. Interesting. I wonder if there's a lot of people who are in here. Who are in the quarter of a... Are you informing 2 or... Oh no, you're informing 2. No, yours is the quarter of duality, which is all about bonding and relationships with others and the fact that you're a left angle cross, your karma has to do with the others. So your story will be told through your interactions with others. And I'm kind of curious, for those of you who have left angle incarnation crosses, is there like resistance to being someone whose purpose is involved with others? I wonder if that's the case for anybody. Because for me, I kind of already, I was just like, that's great. That's, yep. I am an NPC, and I'm supposed to help other people's experiences transform. That is my preferred way of being. I do not want the movie to be about me. I want it to be about how I'm interacting with others. That is much more entertaining for me. So I wonder if other left angle people feel like that's fun, or feel anti that. Wow, there's been so many chats. Okay. Let me answer some of the older ones. Oh, okay. I can move down now. Sorry if I missed yours. I'm running around digitally. Okay, right angle crosses the sleeping phoenix. That I meet so many people who have this incarnation cross, which is very interesting. I feel like I do a lot of readings for people who have that one. And the sleeping phoenix incarnation cross, I believe that involves the gate 34 and 20, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so if you are the right angle cross of the sleeping phoenix, you are in the quarter of initiation. So you're going to, the sleeping phoenix, that's catalyzation. You're going to catalyze. Is that how you say that word? Whatever. Catalyst. You're a catalyst for how others might view the world and like what's going on. You will be that catalyst. However, that's not really your business. Like, you didn't really come here to watch how you catalyze other people, except for how that has an impact on your experience. Like, I met this person, and I met this person today. And then through meeting them, they went through all this whole transformational journey, whatever. And that felt like this to me. That had this impact on me. But your story is personal. You, even though you're someone who is like a lightning bolt in the lives of people that you meet, your own journey of rising from the ashes and becoming the phoenix, that's going to be much more interesting to you. And that's honestly what you should be paying attention to, more than the ways you might be catalyzing others, even though that's happening. Rulership. I feel like if you have rulership, probably the gate 21, I'm assuming. But I don't have these memorized. Rulership 3, you are in the quarter of duality. So learning relationships with others. I'd even say that like relationships around power, learning how those relationships work for yourself, like understanding yourself through discovering these leader-follower relationships. But again, it is a right angle cross. So even though it's in the quarter of duality, which has to do with the others, you're learning about yourself through others. I also want to see if anyone answered my question about left angle. Left angle crosses. Yes, okay, wait, I wonder if I can pin this comment. Can I do that? Aha, I can! Amazing. My character is Gandalf based. LOL. Okay, let me go back up. I'm probably going to miss some. There's a lot of words. I also don't know how helpful this is or not, because you could literally just look this up. But I feel like talking, so I'm talking. Okay, right angle cross, vessel of love. Oh, vessel of love. Vessel of love is such a beautiful incarnation cross. You have a lot of energy in your G center that is active. Y'all came to love. But let me tell you what quarter that's in. Okay, so if you didn't put a number behind it, so I'm assuming that it's the Vessel of Love 1, and that's initiation again. So many initiation incarnation crosses. It's just so interesting. But right angle cross of love, your personal story around love, your personal experience around love. What is love? Let's get curious about that. Let's philosophize about that. What is this? What is the love of the self? What is the love of the body? Life purpose is fulfilled through the mind, learning, being curious, discovering, philosophizing, and for you it's personal. Okay, so, and I think both of you are a vessel of love, so okay, but you have different numbers in different orders, which means you need to know what number is next to your incarnation cross, because you could be vessel of love 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. But they'll all act slightly different, but overall the vessel of love is loving. You're here to love. That's what you came here to do. Wow, that's so interesting. So many right angle cross vessel of love. My lavender earrings, I got them years ago at a mall in Georgia. But you could literally just like, here, do a screenshot of the earring, and you could just reverse Google search. I'm sure there's somewhere. But I got them literally like probably 10 years ago at North Lake Mall in Georgia. Okay. Right angle cross of tension. Let's find it in here. Let's see where it is. Oh, and I pinned the names. Jovian Archive. I believe if you pull your chart up on Jovian Archive, it will tell you your incarnation cross. I think Genetic Matrix will still do it. I know that they like changed their services recently, so there's a lot of things they don't put on the chart unless you pay for it. So I don't know if that still tells you your incarnation cross, but Genetic Matrix does have the list of where you can find what quarter all the incarnation crosses exist in. All right. What was I looking at? Tension, initiation. Okay, but I'm starting to wonder if a lot of you are initiation incarnation crosses because you don't know that there's a number that should follow your incarnation cross. For some of you, like for instance, I'm left angle cross of defiance 2. So it's different than if I was a left angle cross of defiance. So look into that. Look into that when you're looking up your incarnation cross. Consciousness. Okay, you are in the quarter of civilization. Quarter of civilization is about creating structures. It's the life purpose fulfilled through form. So creating forms, creating structures, creating civilization, creating rules for things, loving rules for things, like loving the structures that exist, loving industry. And for you, it's personal, letting yourself have this personal experience around how we develop as a civilization, and what that means to you personally. Discovering that, playing with that is the game to play. The name Evil Haitian is so funny. Your username is amazing. Okay. Unexpected. You are also in the quarter of civilization. So, again, purpose through form, creating structures, societal structures. Right angle cross of demands 2. Gasp. Are you sure you're not the left angle cross of demands? Look, Aspen, look that up again. Let me know. I might be wrong, but let me know. Okay, let me find out for yours. You said you're not sure if you're eating your 12, 11. Oh no, guys, I need to make myself breakfast, but I was not in the mood to eat breakfast when I woke up at all. Right angle cross of Eden. Let's find out what number. You are likely right angle cross of Eden 2. If your gates are 12, 11, 36, 6, you're likely right angle cross of Eden 2. And that exists likely in quarter of civilization. So purpose through form. Good morning. Okay, informing, left angle cross. So your purpose already, because it's a left angle cross, has to do with the others. Your story is told through the lens of how you've interacted with the others. Informing 2, okay, yours is in the quarter of duality, all about relationships, all about differentiation, understanding the others, connecting with the others. That is where yours exists. Right angle cross of penetration. Where does that exist? Let's find out. Let's go. Penetration 3? No. Penetration 3, duality. That is where yours exists, in the quarter of duality. I think probably by now you all know what these, because I've repeated it so many times, what these quarters mean, but I'll say this one more time. It's about fulfilling your purpose through understanding relationships, how we connect with others, or how we connect to each other, and how we define ourselves in relationship to the other. All right. You know, I'm not, repeat the question about left angles. Yeah, I'm wondering how it feels. I'm also not seeing a ton of left angles in here, which is interesting, but how it feels to be a left angle and know that like your karma this lifetime or your purpose is something that involves others. You came here to have interactions with other people and to kind of like cause chemical reactions with others in your life. Like you came here to know that your energy would interact with others and cause experiences in their life, and stories would be told based on the ways that you've interacted with people. And you didn't necessarily come to like watch just your story. You didn't come here for your internal experience. You came here to see how you being you impacts others, if that makes sense. So your story is more, because no one's story is ever truly more about others than it is himself, because you're in yourself. You can't, but your purpose is much more interested in how you impact others than your own personal experience, which I have found very true for myself. I'm like, I don't want to know about the hero's journey. I'm not really that concerned with what's like, I want to talk to people. And I want to make things that do things with people. And I want to be a wizard in the background of other people's masterpieces. I said this years ago. I used to love the Merlin on Netflix, because I'm like, yes, I'm Merlin. I'm not Arthur. I don't want to be Arthur. I want to be the wizard in the back informing Arthur of what Arthur should be doing. That's what I want to do. I want my purpose to be fulfilled through other people. Okay. Right angle cross of explanation. Let's look at it. I also realize that even in my content, I know that everything I say has to come through the lens of me. Everything I say has gone through the filter that is me. But everything I ever want to say, I want to say it to many others. And I only like talking about myself if it's in relation to how I can like clarify something for someone else. That's like the only time I ever really want to talk about myself, is to make someone else see themselves. And I feel like that's also maybe a left angle cross ting. Explanation. Okay, so since there's no number next to yours, I'm assuming that you are right angle cross of explanation 1, which is the quarter of initiation, which again is fulfilling purpose through the mind, curiosity. Let's find out what's going on here. What is that? Let us all find out what that is. But I need to think about it. I am so curious about what is going on here on Earth. I want to find the answers for myself around what is going on here. Okay. Yeah, left angle cross. That's what I thought. I'm like, I don't think that exists under right angle crosses. Okay. If you're left angle cross of demands 2, I'm assuming just because of the 2 that you likely exist under duality, but you never know, because I'm a 2 and I exist under the quarter of mutation. And you exist under the quarter of mutation, so assuming you know what that does. All right, so for you, with the left angle cross of mutation, your life purpose is fulfilled through transformation. For you, it's going to be transformation of the world around you. Yes, yourself, because that's just kind of inherent, but like there's going to be more interest in how you being yourself might inherently cause like death and rebirth for others. That's you're like you will serve the purpose of creating a transformation a death and rebirth in the lives of some of the people that you meet. That is what you incarnated for. Okay. Taylor said, for everything on your chart and genetic matrix, it's only $8 a month, so you could check that out. Ooh, okay, we have a fixed life theme in here. You're a juxtaposition. So juxtaposition, it confused me a lot when I first learned about juxtapositions, because you have the right angle crosses, and that's pretty self-explanatory. It's like you came here to have your experience and like witness yourself. Left angle cross is pretty much the opposite. Juxtaposition is supposed to be the thing that connects the two, that personal karma or that personal life purpose, and then the transpersonal or like your purpose has to do with others. It's meant to connect them and ground them into reality. So people with juxtaposition incarnation crosses, I almost would say that like your story is not, I wouldn't call it like a story narrative or like I wouldn't say that there's like a narrative that plays out. It's like a map with plotted destinations on it. There are certain spots where you will meet someone and you will ground into reality whatever like quarter you're in. You'll ground the discoveries internally or externally people have had just by you being you and being at a certain place at a certain time. So yours is risks. You said risks. Is it just risks or risks 3? Let's see. I'm gonna assume it's just risks, and the naming is so confusing because sometimes I don't even go into that, but I'm gonna assume it's risks. If you know that it's a fixed theme, that means you know it's a juxtaposition, and that's in duality. So for you by being you will ground down into the experiences of others. Like karmically, you'll meet someone and they will embody and like foundationally understand something about relationships, something about differentiation. Of course, it's going to be like more specific to your gates. If you go into your actual incarnation cross, you'll get more information about like just how that might happen. But overall, you are standing at a point in time where someone is meant to interact with you and learn, oh, this is what relationships means, or like this is what connections with others mean. This is what difference means. I'm fundamentally learning this right now. It becomes real when you run into a juxtaposition incarnation cross. And it's interesting with juxtapositions. So much of human design does talk about how like there's no choice for certain things. And while I think that can be helpful at times, I don't love to talk about that because I don't know. It doesn't blend well with my way of seeing the world. But fixed karma, I feel like it can be so helpful to be aware that perception changes everything. And let's say you are fixed in a certain spot. Like this event must occur. Your perception of that event, however, can be varied, and that is a way to create change in something that's fixed. So I just want to let that be known to anyone who has like a fixed incarnation cross or a juxtaposition. My favorite show is on. Yes, left angle cross of defiance too. Since we have the same one, I already know that one is in the quarter of it's a left angle, obviously, but it's in the quarter of mutation. So we will, when we are ourselves, inherently and naturally be like I almost want to like, I'm like hearing like a trumpet sound of like transformation or life and death for people. Evolving from one thing to the next often will be something that like you will lead people through, is like going from one way of being to the next one. Midwifing people through transformations is very much quarter of mutation vibes, especially with the left angle. We're very involved with transforming the others. Oh, okay. Someone said the app Neutrino Design also calculates the cross for free. Lakoya, hi! Yeah, I think I mentioned informing too, right? Did I? Am I tripping? I'll say it again. Yeah, that's the quarter of duality. That's the relationships between others. Discovering yourself through learning about others. And we're talking about incarnation crosses, and yes, incarnation crosses in their associated quarter. Thank you. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is I feel that it could be helpful to just like hear other people's even general role in the game that we're playing. The thing is, with your incarnation cross, you will inherently play it out if you are being yourself. So I don't want this to be something that's like, oh, I need to figure out how to be or like play out my incarnation cross. You're going to do it. If you're being yourself, it's going to happen. But I find that it's helpful to hear other people's roles that they might be playing out. Yeah, I just feel like that's helpful for so many reasons. LAX of Revolution 1. Let's look at it. That is in the quarter of initiation. So the catalyst, the curiosity, what is that? Let's discover, let's philosophize, let's understand that, let's think about it, let's talk about like what is going on here, what is this? It's the beginning. And I feel like just looking at the word revolution, it sounds like the beginning of a change, like what are we all doing here? Everybody, let's get started. Let's dive into this new thing. Okay. Did we look up unexpected one? I think we did. Oh yeah, the initiation. Unexpected and disrupting the whole. Left angle cross of identification. Let's take a look. Okay, that is in the quarter of civilization. Creating your purpose is fulfilled through form, through structures, through the rules, through left angle cross of healing 2. That is in the quarter of duality. The quarter of duality, again, all about relationships, all about discovering your purpose through interacting with others. I don't want to play with this. Yeah, and if you're a left angle cross living in duality, thinking about connections between others. You might even be someone who connects other people with other people, especially as a left angle cross in that way. All right. Ooh, fun question. Okay, how are the experiences between an LAX different than an RAX, different in the quarter of duality? So with the right angle cross and duality, you are learning about intimacy and difference through your subjective lens. Like, you came here to learn about and understand relationship dynamics through your lens and like apply them to yourself and think about them and how they impact your personal experience. Whereas someone in a left angle incarnation cross, they're looking out at relationships, and they might even be talking to other people about relationships and differences in polarity, and it's almost like their understanding of relationships is going to project out into the world. There is going to be a level of internalizing information because that's just what we do, but that information is going to want to offer itself to others more than it's going to want to internalize it and like understand it about itself. It wants to externalize that information and make it use that for the people the people they run into more than they want to understand it for themselves. And I'll speak about it around transformation, since that's mine and I'm a left angle cross. I find that I know that I'm transforming all the time. I know that that's just kind of a thing that's happening. And like life and death is always happening. Also Scorpio things. However, I'm not that interested in my experience of transformation. I'm much more interested in how it plays out for others, or like what it looks like for other people to transform. Or I'm much more interested in talking other people through their transformations than understanding my own. I'm just gonna like let that happen in the background. It's happening. I'm not looking at that. But I want to look at your transformations. That's what I'm the most curious about. So that could kind of help with understanding the duality one. It's like, how can my understanding of relationships, what does that have to do with other people, and how the world is determining rules around relationships and polarity and duality and difference, like what's happening out there. Whereas for right angle cross, it's more about like, what is my experience of this? That's a great question. Left angle cross of demands quarter of me to, it feels out of control. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's definitely a level of co-creation that the left angle cross is here to play with, like letting life allow us to meet certain people at certain times. So there is an element of us not being in control of that. But something to help if you're into human design is knowing that the way that will unfold, it will be a lot more smooth when you're following your strategy and authority. Control's been an interesting thing, an interesting topic. I don't think I want to go into that today. But following your strategy and authority can help soothe that experience. Because you can be shown that you are in a co-creative relationship with life, and you might not need as much control as you think. Penetration. Let's look. Penetration 4. That is the quarter of mutation. So transformation, life and death, your own personal perspective and subjective view of your transformation and mutation, and also what you internalize by watching the transformations of others, or just like the transformation of reality itself, internalizing that, applying it to yourself, and like, what does that mean for me? I'm watching my own experience, my own journey of transformation in life and death. Yeah, it's play with the. Because the thing about incarnation crosses is that you don't have to, it's not something that you're trying to fulfill. You don't have to try to fulfill your incarnation cross. It just happens. It just happens. Like, when I first learned about the left angle cross of defiance, I was like, I'm not really defying anything. I'm not trying to defy anything. And I realized that when I am just being myself, I kind of accidentally defy the way things are, and like offer you could also go this way. There's this way there, and do we have to go this way? Things are changing, and you could also just go this way. And that's like in my personality to do that and to defy societal standards by offering alternatives. That's just what I do. Like, even like outside of the context of spirituality, I would do this at my jobs. I would always do this where I just offer like, okay, there's this, but you could just ignore that and then do this instead and totally change everything. So I wasn't trying to do that. It's just you will do it when you're letting yourself be you. All right. Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm thinking about like the hero's journey experience. And this is like before I even learned about human design, but I would hear people talk about the hero's journey, and I'm just really not that interested in this. I don't really care about my hero's journey. I don't care. And it might sound like I don't care about myself, which obviously I'm sure you guys know that's not true, but like, I just don't care about watching my story arc. It's just not interesting to me. Which is funny because as an artist, it does feel like that's supposed to be important. But I've just learned that I'm able to create from a place that I don't know. I think just the acceptance that that's not the most interesting thing to me, and that other people are much more interesting to me. Being okay with that has made it so that I can still be an artist and a creator without having to be concerned about like my hero's journey or like my own journey. It's just, it works out if you just let yourself be yourself. Yes, being a wizard in the back is fun. Oh, thank you for enjoying this hair color. I need to lighten it, I think. I don't know. Okay, right angle cross of the unexpected. Wow, both of you at the same time. How funny is that? All right, let me look. I believe we looked this up, and it was initiation, but you're right angle cross of the unexpected 3, and then you are, let's find out if you actually, I think, are two different incarnation crosses. Okay, so Kayla, I think you are the right angle cross of the unexpected 1, and then Ariana, you are, or Ari, I feel weird saying your whole entire name. You are right angle cross of the unexpected 3, and right angle cross of the unexpected 1 exists in the quarter of initiation. which is all about discovery, curiosity. And since it's a right angle cross, you're all about your own exploration. You think about like your own potential and how the potential of reality itself impacts you. Like, what does this mean for me? What does this mean for me? That's a great question for those of you in who are right angles in the quarter of initiation. What does this mean for me? And then unexpected 3, you are in the quarter of duality. So relationships, differentiation, polarity, understanding intimacy by watching others, but like the lesson is for you. You came to understand that for yourself. Purpose fulfilled through the mind, that the story that you came here to watch played out has to do with philosophizing. It has to do with understanding things through the mind. Maybe even like research, but there's a lot of like, I want to know what this means. I want to know what this is. Let's define it. Let's get curious about it. It's almost reminding me of the first line and like research and understanding and like the desire to name things and label things. But you came here to know what's going on. Like what am I looking at exactly? What is this? I'm curious about this. Let's understand this. And it's interesting that it is attached to initiation, because it's like you're going into this thing so that we can get an understanding. Like let's get in there and know what's going on. So information is important. That is, you came here to tell a story about information and to read a story about information. Vessel of love. Let's find out. I can't remember what that one was. If your vessel of love 1, then that's in initiation. Separation, left angle cross of separation. And I want to hop off soon so I can text my assistant back. You are in the quarter of civilization. Creating the structures, creating the rules. What is this? What's right? What's wrong? What are we collectively doing about this? Yeah, I agree. It's helpful to use as a lens and a language to understand other people. That's my, again, I'm left angle cross. So I'm like, it's great for understanding other people. That's what I want to do, is understand the others. All right, y'all. I'm just going to see if there's any other like general questions. But hello, yes, Caribbean. Oh, could you tell? Because I was laughing at the name Evil Haitian. Well, I'm not Haitian, but I just find that's such a funny username. Okay. All right. So anyone who wants to know, before I hop off, again, look at that pinned post. If you want to know what your incarnation cross is, you can look at genetic matrix and just look up your incarnation name, your incarnation cross name, in the chart on Genetic Matrix, there was an app mentioned that says that it tells you your incarnation cross for free. If someone wants to drop that again, that would be helpful. It might also be in Genetic Matrix. You might be able to look up that your incarnation cross for free on there. And then check Jovian Archive. You might be able to find it there as well for free. All right, y'all. Oh, Jovian Archive, you can likely find your incarnation cross. And then on Genetic Matrix, it has the list of each quarter that they are in. But that's all. I just wanted to get on and talk about that a bit. That's all I have to say. All right, bye, y'all.